All right, and good day, North Texas. I'm Joshua Weisel here in the Weather 225 Storm Studios. We have a lot to talk about, including the risk for severe weather early tomorrow morning through tomorrow afternoon and evening. We also have triple-digit heat on the horizon as well, and we have low rain chances today, but not as much as we've seen the past couple of days. All that and more in this forecast segment. Starting off, the rain chances today are still around 20 to 30%, but I want to iterate, it's not really going to be that active today compared to what it was the past couple of days as it's looking right now. Still keeping the rain chances just about the same though, in case any sort of shower development pops up. The models have been having issues with overall convection and coverage over the past couple of weeks, so we're just keeping those rain chances there just in case, but keep in mind we may not see as much activity today. Highs of 96 across the area. Further to the west of I-35, we're talking heat near triple digits. It's going to be 98 in Graham. Wouldn't surprise me if some of our western counties see a little bit warmer if conditions prevail and we don't see a whole lot of activity further to the west. But overall, mostly sunny skies. It's going to be a beautiful day besides the heat across the area. For tonight, here's a look at the lows overnight. 75 in DFW, 76 in Graham. 20 to 30% chance for showers and storms for the early to mid overnight hours. But as we approach tomorrow morning, that could be a different story. We'll show you that here with the severe weather outlook. But overnight tonight, most of the night is going to be a pleasant evening and overnight with mild temperatures before those rain chances approach tomorrow morning. For your commute, no other complications. We're going to be in the upper 60s to lower 70s. It's a beautiful start to the day. And for the hour by hour throughout the day, we're going to reach our high around 3 o'clock. Keep in mind, if you have any sort of outdoor activities, make sure that you're keeping the heat safety tips in mind. Know that you need to not only stay hydrated, but have sunscreen on outside, take breaks in the shade, because it is hot outside and it is humid. So you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself, protect your pets, and protect your loved ones. Make sure that you don't leave any children or pets in a vehicle, just because that is very dangerous with the heat we've got going on. And also another thing people don't really think about, make sure that you walk your dogs at an appropriate time temperature-wise, because we are approaching the upper 90s, and what that means is during the afternoon peak heating, the ground might be too hot for your pet's paws. And you don't want to, injure your pet or burn their feet or anything like that. So make sure that you view our heat safety tips for walking your pet in the heat. The heat is only going to continue to rise, so make sure that you walk your pets at a time where it's not going to burn them. You can check the bottom of the ground with the back of your hand to make sure it's not too warm, but you don't want to injure your pets just because this heat can be nasty. Finally, for this part of the segment, here's a look at our Gulf forecast. This is exclusive with Weather 225. You're not going to see this anywhere else here in North Texas. East-southeast winds between 5 and 10 miles an hour throughout the day, and our peak heat time is going to be around 3 o'clock. So it's a beautiful day for Gulf, light winds, except for that heat. So if you're going out today, it is a beautiful day. We have the full look at the severe weather forecast coming up here in just a second, but in the meantime, we're going to throw to a quick break. Stay tuned for the full forecast after this message from MyPro Construction and Roofing. They've been sponsoring us for a couple of years now. We highly recommend them, and this segment was brought to you by MyPro Construction and Roofing. Give a call or click today, and stay tuned for that full extended severe weather forecast here in just a second.
Sun, rain, blistering heat, freezing cold, and Texas storms can damage the roof on your home or commercial building. For a free inspection, call the experts at MyPro Construction and Roofing. They're a DFW-based Platinum preferred roofing contractor with Owens Corning and Tilcor stone-coated steel. Fully insured. Ask about the MyPro difference.
Due to recent storms, MyPro has boots on the ground ready to help you.
For a free roof inspection, go to myproconstruction.com.
For my home, it's MyPro.
All right, welcome back to this severe weather update for tomorrow. We're keeping a very close eye on the forecast. If you've been watching any of our forecasts over the past couple days, we had this highlighted as a severe weather alert day a couple of days ago. We've been talking about this for a while, and we're updating the forecast for the daily forecast video because there's a new update from the Storm Prediction Center. Now, almost all of our North Texas coverage area is under an enhanced risk for severe weather. And we want to mention that this is a severe weather alert day because we're expecting 2 rounds of thunderstorms. One is going to be early in the morning, and the other is going to be in the afternoon. Both are going to be capable of all hazards of severe weather, but the primary risks are going to be mostly damaging winds 60 to 70 miles an hour and hail up to baseball size. And just to give basically a quick update, this includes DFW, and the most significant risk area is basically for here. and that's for a large damaging hail event and a damaging wind event. So we're keeping a very close eye on this. We want to make sure that you're alert for tomorrow, just because it's the weekend. People are going to be out in the lake. They're going to be doing outdoor weekend activities. They're not really focused on the forecast. We want to give you as much warning as possible ahead of time. But I do think that there could be a fairly significant severe weather episode tomorrow across the region, and we don't say that lightly. And this isn't for any sort of tornado outbreak or anything. The tornado risk is low; it's not zero, but we're giving as much warning time as possible for this, just because this looks to be primarily a damaging hail event. So let's look at the overall risk. Here's a look at our tornado risk from the Storm Prediction Center. This is the lowest that they give, but it's not zero. So you need to be aware that there's a risk for all hazards of severe weather. But the overall highest risk tomorrow, and the reason that they issued the enhanced risk, is it was driven by the hail and the wind risk. And notice this bullseye basically over DFW. And in addition to this, it's not on here, but there is a significant hashed area. And what that means is, when the Storm Prediction Center puts a significant hashed area over anything, that's typically because they're expecting significant severe weather. Up to baseball-sized hail is possible. And like I said, this is basically a bullseye over DFW. Let's take a look at that wind risk as well, and also basically a bullseye over North Texas as well, for the potential for 60, 70, maybe even 80 mile per hour winds with some of the strongest storms. And this is going to be an all-day type event. So we're going to be keeping an eye on the forecast for the morning round that comes into the area, and in the afternoon and evening round, and I'll show you that here with our Futurecast radar. So here's a look at the Futurecast radar across the area. This is starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and notice in our northwestern counties there's a little bit of activity in areas outside of the coverage area. Now as I put this into motion, notice 7, 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow, the northern Red River counties could see some activity. Now keep in mind, this is one of many models. There's a little bit of discrepancy between the models. Now the NAM 3KM has shown a big complex of storms that makes its way from central Oklahoma into North Texas. This morning it wasn't really eyeing that big complex. It was showing a weakening complex that moves through and really kind of falls apart. But notice the HRRR is showing that there is a complex that moves over the Red River, but there's back building of storms. And what that means is there's going to be these little discrete cells that pop up. This is almost around noon tomorrow. And if this is the case, and it's not a solid complex or a solid line of storms, these are going to be capable of that large damaging hail, because this will be a line of basically broken supercells that moves through the area. Notice the little cores that you're seeing basically along I-20 and I-30. We'll be watching that for all hazards of severe weather, because that could be large damaging hail. That could also be damaging winds of 70, maybe 80 miles an hour. That'll clear out by 2 o'clock, and notice to the west, and this is going to be something we're watching. If we don't see a big complex that makes its way into the area in the early morning, we're going to see a lot of instability. We're going to see conditions favorable for the development of additional severe weather. And notice all these little discrete cells that pop up over the metroplex. This is what we're keeping a very close eye on, because this is going to be that large damaging hail threat that we're talking about. And notice how they all have those little cells, those little pockets that you see with the more intense cells. Keep in mind, this is not going to be 100% exactly where they're located, because the models are going to be bouncing back and forth until then. But we have all of these little discrete cells, and what that means is there could be some widespread large damaging hail storms, and that's something we're keeping a very close eye on, just because here in North Texas we know all too well what these large damaging hail storms can do. We want to make sure that you're aware of it, the risk and the timing. And notice most of these clear out roughly by midnight tomorrow. There could be a few additional storms later on in the late evening into the early overnight, but these do not look to be as intense as the ones earlier on in the day. So that's a look at our Futurecast radar. Again, there's going to be a lot that changes, so check back for forecast updates, because we want to make sure that you're keeping ahead of the storms. And make sure you download our free Weather 225 mobile app. We'll have push notification updates throughout the day, today and tomorrow. We'll have alerts, and also check out our Severe HQ. We have individual risks for hail and the individual risks for all types of severe weather with the Futurecast radar and all sorts of tools that we use at your disposal for the day. Finally, here's a look at the 7-day forecast. Tomorrow is a severe weather alert day. Make sure you have ways to receive alerts. And then take a look at this. Once we get past that, Sunday's high is 100. And then Monday is going to be potentially another round of thunderstorms. Some could be severe. We're keeping an eye on that. After that, we have additional highs of around 100 starting Wednesday into Thursday. Beyond the 7-day forecast, I'm noticing a trend that it looks like we're going to see triple-digit heat for quite some time in the near future, at least beyond the 7-day forecast. So it's going to be hot. It's going to continue to be hot for a while. Welcome to June in North Texas. It's just one of those things that we see every year. Make sure that you download that free Weather 225 mobile app. Like we said, tomorrow's a severe weather alert day. You want to be alert of that risk for severe weather just because there could be some baseball-sized hailstorms, even some 60, 70, maybe even 80-mile-per-hour wind storms and a low tornado threat. We don't say this to scare you. Not everyone, and I want to reiterate that very clearly, not everyone is going to see severe storms, but there is a chance that we see scattered development across the area that could be organized with all hazards, and we just need you to be aware of that because, like we said, people are going to be doing outdoor activities. They're not really focused on the weather, and we want to give people as much lead time as possible for the risk. If you have any sort of projects to the home or your commercial building, or if your home or commercial building needs a new roof, make sure you call our friends at My Pro Construction and Roofing today. Weather 225 as well. They do a million cool things. They don't just do roofs, but they do a really good job with their roofs and other projects. So if you have any sort of projects, roof repair, anything like that, make sure you reach out to them today.